Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you come back to Mary's little house of Centerville, Illinois. We welcome you. Here's Peanut. He's going to get his shampoo. He got a beauty appointment at his groomer next Thursday morning. So here he is. He's a little bit wild looking, but he's going to be all groomed up pretty soon. Uh, and I we because the weekend was so full, I wasn't able to talk about one of the saints' feast days, and that saint's feast day was on Saturdays, and we had an auction, and all our ministry worked so hard. It's the only um, fundraiser we have all year, and to pay our bills, and so we had the auction, so but it was also uh, no, November the 3rd, which is the feast of Saint Martin de Tours, religious. Here we have him right here. He's sitting on the floor, so he's a big statue. One of our ministers gave it to us, and we just cherish it. He sits permanently right out in the corridor here, just before you come in this office here, and people coming in the front door can see him there. He's always looking up to God. And he has in his right hand a loaf of bread. He loved the poor. He loved the poor, and he's praying. His heart, his hands over his breast, his heart, praying to God, looking up to God. I love that. He reminds me to keep looking that way, especially when things get tough. And I just love him. We live in an area where a lot of his brothers and sisters, men and women and children of color, live, and I keep praying for him that I would be a good neighbor to them, and a good servant of them. Saint Martin de Tours has a white or Spanish father. He was an officer in the for the Spanish king, for the Spanish crown, and a black mother, a black slave mother, and so he was a mixed breed. And at that time, people weren't very kind to black people in general, but to a mixed breed it was even worse. He was despised by them. Yet he was such a wonderful man. In spite of all the prejudice he experienced, he loved everybody, and even and especially the poor. He like with the loaf of bread there. He helped the poor. He cared about them. Uh, um, and he became beloved. And people, I think of every race, white or black or mixed, loved him because he was so kind to everyone. And he's like a patron saint of racial equality or racial justice, racial good relationship, because he embodies both his black race from his wonderful mom, and from the white race from his father. But he didn't let the prejudice get him down or make him bitter. In fact, he won the hearts of everyone. And he did he became a Dominican, a brother, not a priest, not ordained with holy orders, but a brother, religious, the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. As a Dominican, Dominicans, the Order of Preachers, they have behind their name OP, Order of Preachers, a son of Saint Dominic, whom we also love in our ministry, Saint Dominic, the founder of the Dominicans. But anyway, he won everybody's heart, and because he did the menial jobs with the broom, he they call him not only Brother Martin, that was his real name, but Brother Broom. Brother Broom. He was endeared by that. And even to this day, when we went to Lima, Peru, and when we went to his tomb, we prayed there and everything, and then we went to the gift shop, and they had little tiny brooms. Brooms, mind you, reminding all of us of Brother Broom. We got some of them on the dresses, our foundress's dresser. There's two lamps, and one was with him is sweeping the floor, broom, of a little of a cloth or fabric image of him pinned to one of the shades of the lamp on Cindy's dresser, and the other was a really good friend, a contemporary of his, Saint Rose of Lima. They knew each other. You know, saints recognize saints, and they supported each other and loved each other during life. Uh, so these two, Saint Rose of Lima and Saint Martin de Porres, knew each other. I am so amazed when I wrote about him in my daily reflections that I send out to about 140 people every day. Another person from a completely different culture and everything said how she had a great devotion to him from her grade school. Learned about it. Another person, a school teacher way up in the northern states in International Falls, Minnesota. She was a school teacher, and she had a tremendous devotion to Saint Martin de Porres. And they're coming out of the woodwork. I never knew that he was so well known and every way, but he is by many people from many different cultures and many races. He is a very beloved a saint. And I go and talk to him because he's sitting right on the pedestal, almost face to face when he gets on the pedestal, so I can talk to him face to face to help me with my problems. I put my hand on his shoulder and plead with him for help and intercede for me. So he another thing is we got a statue in our saints cabinet of him, and they were having trouble with the rats and the mice, the rodents, and they were going into the food pantry of the Dominican fathers and brothers at their religious house, and he was in charge of that. So he made a deal with the rats and mice that if they wouldn't bother the food in the food pantry, that he would feed them outside. And so he is pictured with a big bowl of milk or something, and the rats and the mice are drinking out of it. The cat, C-A-T, the cat, and the dogs are looking and helping themselves too at the rats and mice. The natural enemies are together. He's not only did he bring harmony to the human family, but harmony to the creature family, to the rodents, the rats and mice and dogs and cats. There was also another place, a dove that he has flying around. They were flying in and out of the patios and everything where he took place. He was like another Saint Francis, a Spanish Peruvian Saint Francis too. He had such holy people do have such a symbiosis, a love for God's creation. Because after all, God created things, and when you're in love with God, you're in love with everything He did. You're in full wonder of all His marvelous works in creation. That's mice and rats and dogs and cats and doves and chickens, and He took care of them all. Oh, one of the things is he prayed for people. That it was some of the people that were conquistadors. They didn't treat the Indians very well, and so he prayed for them. He suffered for them. The Spanish, they came for there were soldiers of fortune and not sometimes very good to the population, to the native population. But he tried to make peace, and he did great penances. He whipped himself with a whip and things like that for the salvation of souls, for the building up of the church there in Peru. He was at the beck and call of so many people, a white, black, Indian. He loved them all, and they all loved him, even though he was a despised a situation of being a mixed breed, a mixed blood. But everyone loved him and came to him for help. He knew a lot about medicine at the time, the medicine that they were practicing, and they came to him as a physician and for help, and didn't charge him anything either. He was a very spirit. Everyone admired him. Everyone saw his holiness. So we're so happy to have him right in the front corridor there in our hallway as they come in the door to Mary's little house to greet him, to this image of him. And so glad we prayed in his tomb, and we really love him too. And we love all the Dominicans, and he's one of the Dominican saints too that we venerate, along with Saint Rose of Lima, whom he knew, and whose tomb also is in Lima, Peru. And Cindy, when she was in Lima with us all, leading this pilgrimage, she saw the poverty of the people there. She was so moved by that, she included that in our morning offering that we say in the ministry, "O Jesus, to the Immaculate Heart of Mary." But she added petitions in there, and one of them was for the poor in Peru. She was so moved she couldn't believe the poverty there in Lima, Peru, of the people, and the people that came to beg from us, and desperate, and it just touched Cindy's heart. So we all pray for the poor in Peru and in Lima especially that we saw. So he's one of our favorite saints too in the ministry, and we're so happy I could share with him. And his feast day was last Saturday, November the 3rd, and many people all over the world just fall in love with him because he is so holy and so simple and so humble, and is so powerful an intercessor before God. And he also brings us together as many different races and mixed in every way, that brings us together in deep mutual respect and love. And he also just opens up our eyes more to the beauty of God's creation shown in his creatures of dogs and cats and doves and rats and mice and all God's creatures, great and small. I'm so grateful to not introduce you. You probably know about him already. But if you do get a book about him or Google him or pray to him, love him as one of your intercessors, St. Martin de Porres, pray for us. God bless you.